Born again into a fantasy realm, Lug agrees to kill a few nobility during a slave auction with his friends. Before he died, in a past life, he was the greatest assassin in the world, mentoring a newcomer on an assassination mission. When it was time to flee, a drone intercepts them, forcing them to make quick, improvised changes in order to survive. The assassin declares his plans to retire the following day and act as a mentor for aspiring assassins in Japan. Upon reaching the adjacent airport, they utilize fictitious passports to board a flight bound for Japan. When an organization fighter jet attacks the plane in midair, the assassin realizes he has been tricked and regrets living a life devoid of feelings. A goddess confronts him after he dies and gives him two options: reincarnate as a totally different person or undergo a memory-preserving rebirth with the intention of killing the world's hero. The goddess makes a suggestion that the assassin accepts. He repressed his emotions in a previous life, which is why he yearns for happiness. He could choose which of his unique talents and powers to use, according to the goddess. She issues a warning, saying that if he doesn't kill the hero within 18 years of his birth, the hero will wreak havoc and destroy the new world. Though the odds are extremely low, it is also possible to save the world without killing the hero. After that, the killer reincarnates as a member of the Tuatha clan. Although they are perceived by the general public as a simple medical family, they are actually an assassination clan that fulfills requests for the royal family. Lug's father assesses his physical development 7 years after his rebirth, noting that he has become an expert hunter and cook. Lug's father determines that a specialized eye surgery is appropriate for his body. As a result, Lug will be able to recognize magic in both people and environments. When the time is appropriate, his father also pledges to teach him how to carry out the surgery. Dia Vicone is hired by Lug's family to be Lug's magic instructor. Even though she was still very young, she was ranked among the top 5 mages in the Suijo. Lug receives a Far from Dia, a unique gemstone used to gauge his magical prowess. The Far explodes as a result of Lug's immense power. His parents hurry to see whether they are hurt. Dia tries to hide it as Lug's father, wearing a serious expression, inquires as to whether it was Lug's fault. But after some coercion from Lug's father, Dia finally acknowledges that Lug was to blame. The look on his parents' faces changes to one of pride at Lug's strength. Over the course of the following few weeks, Lug and Dia develop a strong emotional bond. Lug shows off his capacity for quick learning by creating weapons in addition to metal synthesis. To create new spells, they also draw on each other's knowledge. Lug thanks Dia with a titanium knife on their last night together. After Dia leaves, she gives him her own Far Stone in exchange. His father explains their clan's tactics and determines it's time for Lug's first murder. The woman he targets is a defendant in several cases who is attempting to prove she is innocent. But since Lug knows she's lying, he kills her without causing any pain. By the time Lug turns 10, he has used his family's resources to find a servant who will assist him in carrying out the goddess's request to kill the hero. He finds Tart, a girl being attacked by wolves, while on a hunt. After being abandoned by her family, the girl traveled to the Tuatha region in search of a better life. Lug successfully begs his father for permission to train Tart as an assassin after brainwashing her into becoming a servant in his clan. When he reaches 12, he finds that Tart is proficient with spear combat but has trouble with smaller weapons like knives. Lug chooses to go in a different direction. He creates a spear that retracts. Tart can now solve the problem by hiding the spear under her clothes. He now thinks Tart can be a useful tool in his plan to murder the hero. Because of Dia's teachings, Lug has accumulated a considerable amount of Far Stones over the years. He plans to throw them like grenades. His father gives him a call to find out if Tart is really a spy from somewhere else. Lug disputes it, saying he has never discovered any tangible or mental hint that Tart might be a spy. She wasn't a spy. She was too innocent. Lug's father informs him that he must fulfill 2 conditions in order to be certified as a family assassin. He must first defeat his father in a test to demonstrate his ability to complete the missions. Despite his past experiences, his father shows himself to be a strong rival, but he is unable to defeat Lug and pass the test. Lug assists his father in carrying out pretextual assassinations in order to facilitate their work. Second, he has to pretend to be a business-oriented member of the Baylor family for the next 2 years. In honor of Lug's last mission, the Tuatha family celebrates with a celebration. Members of the family claim Lug has the potential to become the next head of the family, and everyone is impressed since he is the youngest member in the clan's history to reach the last assessment. A member of the branch family named Rana chooses to challenge him to a duel, but he is easily vanquished. Rana receives a special sword from Lug as he departs, enabling him to carry out his knight training and eventually rise to the position of subordinate to Lug. Lug and Tart set out on their journey to the Baylor region the following day. We follow Maha and her friends as they struggle to make ends meet in the merchant town of Miltiu, while Lug and Tart begin their new lives in the Baylor region. Unfortunately, a group of bandits ends up kidnapping them and bringing them to an orphanage. However, they are aware that it's usually a front for prostitution rings. With the exception of Maha, every girl is coerced into becoming a prostitute by a local noble. They suffer severe trauma, to the point where one of them dies as a result. Noin, one of the girls, believes she will use a sickle to injure her own face if it means she won't have to work as a prostitute. It's been 2 years. Maha understands that she is the next in line and is going to follow Noin's example. Eventually, Lug tracks him down using the alias Oleg Baylor. But before Lug buys her, the director of the orphanage informs him that he has to wait 3 days because they intend to force her to lose her virginity. Thankfully, Lug intervenes to save Maha, and with Tart's help, he uncovers the noble's misdeeds and brings him to justice. When the prostitution ring closes and Maha moves in with Lug, Noin finds that her facial scars have healed. As he continues to live as Oleg Baylor, Lug uses his knowledge from his previous life to come up with the plan to open a cosmetics store in Miltiu to increase the Baylor family's earnings and pay for his assassination tasks. He introduces sweets, moisturizers, and lotions to the new world. When the Baylors were introduced to such miraculous products, even their wife claimed she began to see him as her own son. His store Orna saw a sharp rise in sales in just 6 months after it opened, giving it a considerable competitive edge. Competing companies send spies to try and break into Lug's house to find out the keys to his success. With the aid of Tart and Maha, Lug manages to apprehend at least one spy. And all the torture doesn't seem to be working to get any information out of him. This store was merely a pawn in Lug's larger scheme to gain access to the nobility and facilitate assassinations. As his business expands, Lug makes the temporary decision to leave Miltiu and visit Daya in order to increase his magical knowledge. Lug finds out the following morning that, while Maha and Tart slept next to him, he had a wet dream. He tries to give them a scientific explanation while he freaks out, but the girls start making suggestions that they want their relationship to go beyond simple companionship. Lug begins to wonder if he was the one who planned this as well. Lug establishes a prosperous business in Miltiu and makes the decision to go back home and resume his assassin training. Knowing that she wants to take the business into new markets, he leaves Maha in charge of Orna and assures her that he will visit her. Since Maha is the daughter of a prosperous merchant, he is certain that she is capable of accomplishing this. Lug and Tart are ultimately ambushed by a pack of wolves while returning home. Lug observes that attacks by monsters on human settlements have increased after Tart destroys them with ease. He believes the hero will show up shortly. When Lug returns, his father Shaun calls him into his study and gives him the chance to become a merchant and live a quiet life instead of becoming an assassin. Lug is free to pursue his own path, even though Shaun believes he has reached a point in his life when he is unable to take any more actions. Lug, on the other hand, acknowledges that he is in love with Dia but would rather carry on with his current lifestyle. He says he won't be able to marry her if he doesn't enjoy the rights of the Alvin Kingdom's nobility. Shaun resolves to assign his first genuine assassination mission after hearing his son's words. As a fully trained assassin, Lug's first target is Count Aspavenker. In exchange for drugs, the Count distributes military secrets across the kingdom and sells them to neighboring kingdoms. Since Shaun previously informed Lug that an assassin's ability to be human is necessary, our main character chooses to look into the Count on his own. He checks to see if the target is truly guilty or if they should be spared using Maha's investigation network. The second biggest trading town in the kingdom, Pizar, is visited by Lug and Tart. After seeing how the drugs affect a poor girl's mother, they make the decision to take down the local drug smuggling organization. Later, Lug and Maha visit the Count's mansion pretending to sell Orna's goods, which proves to be profitable for Orna. The Count's wife learns that her husband likes to sip wine while staring at the moon during their conversation. With this knowledge, Lug can organize his strategy. Count Minkier is quietly killed by Lug using his latest weapon, a magical sniper rifle, as night falls. He stops to watch the grieving wife's response. Though Lug promises he will never forget this mission, he has no regrets. As this was his first mission, he completed it acting as a free man rather than as a tool for someone else, as he had in a past life. As part of their assassin training, Lug and Tart spend a month alone on a deserted island. Upon their return to the mainland, Maha informs them of a weapon with unfathomable power that is a divine treasure. According to her, Satanta Magnus is the owner of this heavenly treasure, a magical spear called G-Ball, and is a well-known warrior who is thought to be the mythical hero. Is it possible for Lug to purchase it? Maha responds that she is currently engaged in negotiations. Maha tells Lug that there is a war going on in the Veckan region. In case the war reaches Dia's doorstep, he makes the hasty decision to go to her house and offer her a way out. Dia cites her obligations to her family and people as the reason she won't leave her native country. As they disguise themselves, Lug asks Dia to go on a date while they are in Dia's hometown. When the day is over, Dia rents a hot spring in the area. Dia simply undresses and tells him to hurry up, but Lug gets confused and asks if it's gender mixed. Lug is still of the opinion that he can help Dia flee the conflict when he gets back home. However, Dia has already started to fortify her hometown in order to defend herself. Later on, a wounded soldier asks the Tuathata family to kill Diameter. According to Sion, Dia's father gave the order to kill his own daughter in an effort to put an end to the civil war that is presently raging in the Veckan region. Sion informs his son that Tuathata family has always had the choice to decline missions in accordance with their own desires. However, Lug concludes that he can save Dia by using this mission after realizing that Dia's death won't be sufficient to end the war. In order to help him understand why he should only be assisting the kingdom and not an outsider, his father chooses to tell him the truth. He tells Lug that in his life, he only went against the Tuathata principles in order to save Lug's mother. His mother is also from the Veckan family, and Dia is Lug's cousin. Tart acknowledges his feelings for Dia as Lug accepts the mission, and together they help him travel to the Veckan region while utilizing as little magical energy as possible. Lug arrives and discovers the Veckan mansion is under siege. In an attempt to minimize casualties, he makes it to Diameter. It is Maha who learns of the divine treasure Lug is searching for during his mission. She decides right then and there to let Lug know where it is. Lug finally sees Dia again and tells her father that she will be taken from him in ways he never imagined. He had no idea she would feel anything romantic for Lug. In order to fake Dia's death and bring her safely to his Tuathata region, Lug comes up with a scheme. However, before the plan could be executed, Satanta Magnus shows up and throws it off. Since Satanta is skilled with the GI ball, Lug is aware that confronting him head-on would be disastrous. Instead, he launches a tungsten projectile into the atmosphere with magnetic propulsion, delaying Satanta long enough for the projectile to destroy him. Subsequently, the Tuathata family adopts Dia while posing as Lug's younger sister, thereby finishing the mission while already on Lug's territory. By the time our story ends, Lord Epona Rhiannon, the hero, has finally made it to the Alvin Kingdom, and Lug finds out about it later. For this anime, that is all. Please leave a comment and like the video. I'll see you in the upcoming recap. I appreciate you viewing.